welcome to another tier maker. This one is about one of America's favorite actors of the last generation. Someone who went on a run of unbelievable films for a long stretch of time. Multiple Academy Award winner, Tom Hanks. I wanted to do a tier maker for his films because I've seen most of them, but there's definitely a few that I have not. But he has such a great IMDb. Like, how do you argue with some of these films? You just can't. Or can you? We're going to find out here right now. All right. I don't have these in alphabetical order. It's just the order that was of this tier maker that someone else made for the record. I did not make this. So if there's a title missing, maybe this tier maker is a year or two old. I don't know. But for what's on this list, I thought it was pretty substantial. It has Greyhound, which came out last year, one that I've seen. So we do have most of his work. I mean, is The Man with One Red Shoe in here? It is. So, I mean, if that's in there, we're good. All right. So first, we're going to rip through this list, and we're going to go through all the ones I have not seen. And we're going to start with Man with One Red Shoe. I don't think I've seen it, and if I have, it's been so long, I can't even comment on it. Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. I heard bad things, that it was kind of a 9/11-y movie, but not really kind of schmaltzy. I don't know. The reviews were not good, and I just wasn't in the mood for Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, so I never watched it. Toko says, great 80s comedy cheese. Gotcha. So I've seen two of the Da Vinci Code movies. So Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons I've seen. Inferno is the third. I have not seen that one. What is this one down here? Let's zoom in on it. Every Time We Say Goodbye. I never even heard of that. That's got to go in here with I have not seen as well. Togo says Inferno is trash. Okay. You know, I'll get to the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons in a minute. But from everything I heard is that Inferno kind of just got unceremoniously dumped into theaters. So, nothing in common with Jackie Gleason. I have not seen it. A Hologram for the King. Never even heard of it. Which is weird, right? The Circle. It was on Amazon Prime or Netflix for a while, and I never watched it. Reviews, again, really bad. Skipped it. Maybe it's a good movie. I don't know. And I think we're getting up to where I've seen all of these. So Toy Story 1 is in there, 2 and 3. Toy Story 4 is not in here? I don't see it. That's okay, though. Okay, let's just kind of go through these in order. Let's do the Coen Brothers film first, The Lady Killers, which is a remake of a film, I want to say, from the 50s. It is very mid. It's very mid. And if we're ranking Coen Brothers films, which I've done already, it's lower tier. But for Tom Hanks's films, I'm going to put it in the middle. Perfectly fine film, very light, kind of funny, not really. Good premise, not a lot happens with it. So, it's mid, and for now I'm going to put it in C. Cloud Atlas. Man, this is a D, and I'll tell you why. Visually, it's pretty neat. It's from the Wachowskis, right? They had the budget. It is widely considered to be an unfilmable novel, and I can see why when you watch the film. It's almost unwatchable. The way they bounce around all these different timelines and all these different versions of these characters and stuff. I can't put it as an F because it's not a total failure, but it's as if other D's come in here, it's probably going to be behind most of them. It's a low D for me. A B for you, a low B for you on Cloud Atlas? Or for Lady Killers. See, I don't want to rip through these too fast because I want to be able to engage with chat. But I also don't want to be on this for an hour. Lady Killers. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Lady Killers. I can see that as a low B. That's good. I mean, like I'm saying, it's mid-ish, although mid kind of lives in between B and C on this list. So high C, low B. I'm with you. Charlie Wilson's War. It's high C, great cast, somewhat based on a true story, very forgettable. When I watched it, I went, that was okay. That was worth watching. Wouldn't watch it again. In fact, maybe a B minus, but for now we're going to leave it as a C. Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. Let's just knock all of those out right now. Toy Story is a high A to a low S. Toy Story 2 is an S. Toy Story 3 is... I don't rank it as high as most of the people, but it is above Toy Story 1. I didn't quite go in for the feels like some people do on that film. So, but I do still rank it above the first film. And the first film's great. But the third one is better, just a little bit. Those are all pretty much perfect family entertainment films. You can't really argue against them. They're fantastic. And Toy Story 4 is not in here, but Toy Story 4 is good. I would put it in the B. Doesn't really have a need to exist, but it's worth watching, and it's good. It's above average for most stuff, but I would say it's the least of the four. Keanu Reeves is awesome in it, though. No doubt. Oh, Polar Express, I've not seen that. The trailers creep me out. I don't want to see them. It looks so weird. I don't want it. Get out of there. Toy Story 3 is high S for you. Okay, see, and I knew that was going to be a little unpopular because for me, Toy Story 3 is very good. Just a little bit not great. But that ending is awesome, and I get why people love it. And I guess the middle of the film is kind of okay, but the first act is fantastic, and the ending is fantastic. It's just kind of in the middle where I'm like, I don't know. People made a deeper personal connection to that film than I did, I think, so. Probably for most millennials, too. Right. So, I am a little older than most people. Pretty much everybody I know who is late 20s, early 30s, they were still pretty young when this came out, and it hit them in the feels harder than it hit me. So that's a good point that you bring that up. Thank you, Toko. The Terminal. I'll tell you what, this is a B, maybe even a high B. I rewatched this recently. It's a little bit schmaltzy, but it's Spielberg schmaltzy, so it does it pretty well. I saw it in the theater, and I hadn't watched it again until a few months ago. It was on cable, and I sat and watched it all again. And I'm like, this is actually a movie, it's held up fairly well. So we'll put it in as a B. Larry Crowne. This is a C, but it's like the lowest C possible. It's unassuming. It's a very light story. He even jokes about it being one of his lesser films, and it is. But you're rooting for them, and honestly, it's just fun to watch Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts cook and do their thing, which they kind of do in Charlie Wilson's War, but that's a better film for sure. Saving Mr. Banks. Man, this movie, I did not give a crap about it. I did not. I'm sorry, Disney. I didn't care about your movie. I didn't. It just seemed so fake to me. Like, there's no way that's how the writing process goes. Like, I'm not a musician, but even just watching that, I'm like, there's no way. It's not terrible, but I just watched it and went, why did I just watch that? It is just not my kind of movie at all. Let's flip it around. Let's put it up on its head. Let's flip it up on its head. Let's go the other direction. Let's put Captain Phillips as a high A. This is probably... Paul Greengrass's best film, to me, is probably still Bourne Ultimatum, the third Bourne movie. That is a just crackerjack, incredibly edited, a little less shaky cam than Ultimatum was. Ultimatum is the third one. Supremacy is the second one. A little less shaky cam, a little bit better to see the action in, but for me, the pacing of that film and the way they end it is a perfect ending for all of the trilogy. The fact that they made a fourth film, just I forget and I ignore that exists. And by fourth, I mean Jason Bourne. The Bourne Legacy, I went and saw that in the theater, and I'm like, wow, that was not good. But it was an attempt at a spin-off, and it didn't work. I would say Captain Phillips is a close second for me for Paul Greengrass films. It is so well made and holds up really well in a second and a third viewing. I've seen that film 3 times now. Yes, for Phillips, one of the best performances of PTSD on film ever. Do you know that was not in the script? You probably know that. But when they had a trauma nurse on site, a trauma doctor, and I don't know if it's a doctor or a nurse, they had a trauma physician on site. And I don't remember if the director or someone on set was, maybe it was Tom Hanks, was like, we need to film with her. And that scene, they just wrote it up. And her basically doing what she does, and he is trying to accept that he is no longer in peril, as he's been for the last 48 hours. Yeah, that's a real medic. Yeah, that is not an actor. She's doing her thing. You know, they basically just said, be natural. Do what you would do with someone in this situation who's been through an extreme PTSD shock for, you know, was it 48 hours? 72 hours? I can't remember how long that was. That film is amazing. It is so well made. It's a little hard to watch in a couple spots because it is so claustrophobic, and especially in the last act. Holy shit. But the fact that those Navy SEAL snipers did what they did from that distance with 2 ships moving up and down with the water, unreal. You'll watch it and you'll be like, I'm sorry, I'm spoiling a little bit, but there's some shots fired at the end. They are flawless. And then you go and read the real story, because I was thinking there's no way that it was that clean. It was that clean. So, nothing but love for Captain Phillips. Fantastic film. Greyhound. Man, this is really low C. It's only like 80 minutes. I mean, it flies by. And it's based on a true story about, I want to say a submarine captain, World War II, or is it Korea? I don't know. It just kind of rolled in and out of my head, and it was over. Perfectly fine film. Yeah. This was during the pandemic as well, and it was just, we were looking for stuff to watch. Like, come on, give us content. It was okay. Road to Perdition. This is a low A to high B. I'm going to actually put it up here. It belongs definitely above Terminal. I can't put it up there with the Toy Stories, but it is a very good film. Sam Mendes made that, I believe. Just the look and feel of that film's fantastic. It's based on a graphic novel. So, yeah. Road to Perdition, better every time you watch it. It just continues to improve. If you haven't seen Road to Perdition, you really should. It is very 30s noir, guy and his son, kind of a crime mafia type movie, but it's not what you expect. It's a little bit different. So, go into it with an open mind. I think you'll enjoy it. But it's not one of those like infinitely quotable films. It accomplishes what it sets out to accomplish. It's just it's kind of narrow in its focus, but what it does very well. I'm kind of saving some of his best films for last. Punchline, C. It's pretty good. It gives you a really good view of what stand-up comics go through, the struggle that they have. But we'll put it as a C. One time was enough. I don't know that if it was on again on cable, I would probably watch it, but Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I love Mr. Rogers, and I did not like this movie. I'm sorry. It's overrated. Totally overrated. So much of this film is bullshit, too. They made up so much crap for this film. And from the writer to how many times he actually spoke to him, they didn't have a relationship in real life. He only talked to him like twice. But the movie plays it up like they had this great friendship and this and that. You don't need to fabricate stuff about Fred Rogers. His life was so incredible. The fact that they added all this shit into the script that didn't exist, it was so disappointing to me. Because I watched it and I went, it felt kind of fakey, but I liked it. And then I went and looked online and it ruined it for me. It's like 90% of it in the movie doesn't even happen. So if you just want to see something, check your brain. But they play it like it's real, and that's the thing. They don't really tell you how dramatized it is. Drama. Say the drama for your mama. But let's go to another one that is not based on a true story, but it feels like it was, and that's That Thing You Do. I don't really care for musicals. or the 50s type stuff, this film is fun. It's really fun. It's totally light and awesome, and Tom Hanks directed it, and it's well made. It's a good film. It's funny. Some good songs in it. It's a musical kind of, in the fact that the bands play full songs in the movie, but it's not a musical like Singing in the Rain, which is a fantastic musical, by the way. I don't really like musicals, but Singing in the Rain is amazing. That Thing You Do, very good. So we'll put it as a low B for now. All right, let's knock out the Da Vinci Code. I'm begrudgingly putting it as a low B. The first one, it's watchable. Yeah. I don't know why Tom Hanks is in it. I don't get it. It's peppy. That's a good word to describe That Thing You Do. What's up, bastard? Da Vinci Code. No, I can't put it. I can't put it there. It's a mid-tier C. In fact, I'm gonna put it kind of in here. No, I'm putting it there. I can't put Da Vinci Code higher than mid-C. I just can't. And then we're gonna put Angels and Demons as a D. Down here with these somewhere. Not an F, not a failure, but not good. And I haven't seen Inferno. Toko says it's trash. Catch Me If You Can. This is going to be kind of controversial, but let me tell you something. Spielberg at some of his best work. Catch Me If You Can. It encapsulates a period. It is one of my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio performances. He has so much fun with it, and you can tell he enjoyed making it as you're watching it. And Tom Hanks is the very straight-laced guy, but the way they kind of become friends, even as they're one's chasing the other, is really well done. Not friends in a traditional sense, but they get an empathy for each other's stations in life as they get to understand a bit about each other. And most of what happens in this movie is real life. The fact that he got out, the way he escaped different times, the whole thing at the airport, all of that he did that all happened. So much of that story is true, and it makes it even better. But it is such a fun film, and it's based on a true story, and I enjoy the back and forth with the two of them. Highly rewatchable, great music. Yeah, dude, the soundtrack in Catch Me If You Can is great too. So a lot of love for that. Dragnet, I've seen this. It's straight trash, dude. You cannot tell me that was a good idea to make that. I think that was Tom Hanks was kind of in a glut of bad movies, and that is one of those bad movies. Splash, still pretty fun. B-ish. I maybe a little bit above Terminal. Still fun movie. Good 80s cheese. Volunteers. Man, it's a comedy that's not funny. It's not that funny. I'm sorry. It's okay. D maybe is a little aggressive, but I don't know. When people talk about Tom Hanks films, they don't mention Volunteers because it's not that good. Joe versus the Volcano. It's right there with Volunteers, slightly above it. The setup is good, but then it's over and you're like, what? That was a waste of time. Some people love this movie. For me, didn't do anything for me. Nothing. I'm trying to knock out some of these mid-tier films. The Post. I am so tempted to F-tier this, but I can't quite do it. There's just too much talent involved. It's down here, though. I'll be honest. It is so rushed. They rushed the script to get this out there, and it feels so rushed. And then you've got, these are all based on real characters, kind of. You can't put Bob Odenkirk and David Cross in the same movie together as two people who work together. You can't do that. Spielberg, have you seen Mr. Show? You can't put them in the same room together and not have it be Mr. Show and playing them as straight men. You can't do it. They're jokey people. There's a couple of chuckles from it. It's such a bad movie. I'm sorry, The Post is bad. And the fact that they made a big Oscar push, the studio did, and they got a bunch of nominations, based on the fact that the cast is fantastic and Steven Spielberg made it, it's not a good movie. I'm sorry, The Post is terrible. I'm talking myself into putting it as an F. My Volunteers might be my least favorite Hanks movie. Have you seen Dragnet? Joe vs. Volcano is underrated. Okay, you know, yeah, like I said, some people think that's a really good movie. I don't really like it. You want to talk about underrated? How about a cult classic? How about we go with The Burbs? With The Burbs. We'll put it behind the Toy Stories, but The Burbs is a good freaking movie. Dark comedy, dark as hell comedy. When we're in that, oh, there's Toy Story 4. Oh, there's Toy Story 4. I missed it. I said it was going to be a mid to high B. Yeah, I think I'm going to put it behind The Terminal. You have a soft spot for Dragnet. Okay, yeah, I zero love for that movie. Okay, all right. John Williams couldn't do the score for Ready Player One because he was busy with The Post. Leave it to Toko. Toko knows his movie scores. Ready Player One's not on here because we did Spielberg movies before. That's a different tier maker we've done. Ready Player One. Yeah. I read the book, and then the more I thought about it, the more I didn't like the book. It was just a little too nostalgia, cheesy schmaltzy. And the movie pretty much did that too, except wasn't paced well at all. Yeah, not a fan of that movie. Tom Hanks isn't in it. The Burbs, yes! I'm telling you, man, The Burbs is good shit. I need to watch that again. It's been a long time. Bridge of Spies. This is a respectable C. I'm going to put it in here. I'm actually going to put it... Yeah, it's... Bridge of Spies and Charlie Wilson's War are so close together in terms of the feel of those films. I think they both belong real close together in C. What's the fun fact? Oh, you were giving me the fun fact. I thought you had another one for me. Sully. I'll tell you what. Once Was Enough, but it's a low B. It's a low B. The way they balance the two, the real time and the flashbacks together is really well done. And I thought Tom Hanks was a damn good Sully, even if he's a little bit too young in the film. They did a good job of making him up to look about the right age. And yeah, it's a really good view of what happened. Although I think they did embellish a little bit on the actual meeting that they have to have at the end or during the film that takes place like in present day. Philadelphia. Yeah, God. Yeah, what can you say about Philadelphia? I mean, he won his first Oscar with this film, and for good reason. And it was saying things about AIDS before anybody really had the guts to. And Denzel Washington's fantastic in it too. I've got to put it. In fact, I've got to probably put it above The Burbs. It's an A. It's definitely an A. But we've got some heavy hitters in here still. Where's Bachelor Party go? Bastard Skelly, I know where you're putting Bachelor Party. For me, Bachelor Party's not a film I grew up with, but I've watched it a couple times since. It is a high B. I got to put it probably at the top of the Bs. It is not The Burbs for me though, and I think that's the cutoff. That's the line of demarcation. You could move this up to a low A. I'm sure some people would put it as a high A or maybe even an S. It's hard to argue it as an S, right? S is like unassailable. It's a funny movie. It hasn't aged all that well, but there are some quotes in it. The whole thing with Milt. Come on. This being Milt. Very quotable. Damn funny. High B. And that even might be me overrating it a bit because... No, it's better than everything else in that list. No, that's good. That's good. We're good with it right there. Go ahead and tell me if I'm wrong. Let's knock out the two Meg Ryan films that he's done. Sleepless in Seattle. Hey, Sleepless in Seattle is a damn good romantic comedy. It is. A is a little tough to do. I personally, this is a tough one, man. This being Milt, Boy George has a yeast infection. Sleepless in Seattle is a fantastic movie. It really is. Every time I watch it, it gets better. I'm struggling. You know what? For Tom Hanks movies, we're going to put it in the mid Bs. But it's better than Splash. But Sleepless in Seattle is a fantastic film. You've Got Mail, definitely lesser, but very watchable. It's better than Da Vinci Code. It's better than Lady Killers. I like Punchline better than You've Got Mail. So yeah, that's fair. Oh yeah, Sleepless in Seattle, way better than You've Got Mail. You've Got Mail is a remake. Shop Around the Corner is the original, and it's fine. They were trying to recapture the magic of Sleepless in Seattle, and the script just didn't have it. It's fun. It's a fun romantic comedy. It's a solid C. Yeah, Sleepless in Seattle way ahead. In fact, I have it only one tier. It maybe should be higher. I forget that Dave Chappelle's in that movie every time I see it. He is. He is. A League of Their Own. Man, this is such a damn good movie. So good. I've seen it a couple of times and it just gets better every time. Where in here? It's a high B. I gotta put it above Road to Perdition, but I can't quite put it above Bachelor Party. It's such a damn good movie, and he's hilarious in it. In fact, I heard a thing where they were talking about Tom Hanks, and he says that this is one of his all-time favorite films that he's been in, is League of Their Own. He got to have a lot of fun on that, and basically take a piss that lasted almost 60 seconds. Bastard Skelly puts League of Their Own as an A. Yeah. You know... Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it needs to be higher. Maybe even a bit. Man, it's above The Burbs. I have to put it above The Burbs. You watch those two side by side, I think League of Their Own is a better film. The Burbs is still fucking great though. The Money Pit. The scene of him when stuff falls through the floor and he's doing the crazy laugh. Best part of the whole movie. It is better than Joe vs. Volcano, but not by much, though. As a movie in and of itself, it's kind of down here. Right there. At least a B for his laugh. A, but that's fair. We're talking about A for League of Their Own? I'm putting Money Pit down as a C. But that's not really fair, because honestly, a C tier film for Tom Hanks is probably an A tier for a lot of other actors. So I'm just being totally real with you, because I'm not going to just put S and A tier on all of these. But some of these films are very rewatchable. I've seen Larry Crown twice. All right, come on, it's on cable. I'm like, perfectly light and airy film. The Burbs is a cult classic. My family still quotes it. I'll tell you, it's been some years since I've seen it. I need to hurry up on it for sure. Okay, Big is awesome. Big is so freaking awesome. Big was a film that hit me in the feels when I was a kid, big time. I can't put it above Toy Story or Philadelphia, but that film pretty much made him. I mean, Bosom Buddies was the start, but when he did Big, forget about it. He was now a bankable star. Then he had a couple missteps after it, but Big put him on the map, and for good reason. It's such a oh god, yeah. I love Big. I can't. Is it Penny Marshall's best flick? Good question. So I'm gonna look up Penny Marshall and look at her list of films. She died in 2018. Is Big her best film? I'm gonna say no. Oh. Would you believe she's only made 7 films? She directed Jumping Jack Flash, mid. Big, Awakenings, pretty good movie. A League of Their Own, great movie. Renaissance Man, that's that one with Danny DeVito. Never saw that one. Preacher's Wife, Denzel Washington, Riding in Cars with Boys in 2001 was the last film. I have not seen Riding in Cars with Boys. I don't think I have. Have I? Have I seen that? It was around the time when I was watching pretty much everything for work. 2001. I was still a film buyer in 2001. Yeah, I was buying for Hastings. I feel like I may have seen it. Shazam is a big remake. I'm not going to argue against that. You're basically right. Turner and Hooch. You know why Turner and Hooch is the worst Tom Hanks film, right? You know? If you don't, go ahead and put the emote, if you're subbed to my channel, for the doggos. Go ahead, put it up there. Yeah, she only made 7 movies. Isn't that crazy? She's pretty good batting average, though. Charity. Turner and Hooch made me cry my eyes out. They killed the dog. Okay, there's your spoiler. I've watched it once. I will never watch it again. Okay, so it belongs up here. Fine. Fine. 90% of it is awesome. Fine. All right, it's a C. There, you win. One time I watched it. I will never, ever watch that film again. I don't know that I've cried harder at a movie than I cried at Turner and Hooch. And not like the tears of joy. The I've been manipulated and I can't help it. I'm bawling my eyes out. Turner and Hooch. Sad movie equals bad movie. No. Sad was fine. But it's such a fun movie. All the drool and the jokes, and they work together. By the way, don't they say don't work with animals or kids? He worked with an animal pretty early on, and I'd say his career turned out okay. Came out the same time as K-9. I've seen the first K-9. James Belushi. I've seen it. No, I'm putting it as a C because it belongs in the C's. But for me personally, if you said I will give you $10,000 to watch this movie right now, I would turn it down. That's how much I hated the end of that film. And yes, there's a little puppies, but it just felt like a placate. Like, here's some other puppies because the other one's dead. You killed that dog! Fuckers. I cried ugly at one movie that is still left. G. Do I know which one it is? Because I did and I still do every time I watch it. And let's just get it out of the way. Top of the list, Saving Private Ryan. Come on. What did you expect? Huh? Saw it in a theater 3 times. Cried harder the second time. Cried harder the third time. There's 2 moments that get me in it. The first is the wordless scene of the mom on the porch seeing the government cars pulling up. I'm tearing up right now thinking about it. Whoever that actor was that played that mother, and you don't see her face, you just see the way she collapses on the fucking porch. I'm gonna cry right now. Gets me every time, and earn this at the end. Yeah. Those 2 moments they're earned. The tears are earned. And Melissa's watched it once. She says, I will never watch that film again. Sometimes if it's on cable and she comes in the room after the opening scene, but she's like, that first 20 minutes gave me PTSD. Like, I'm just watching it. It is so realistic. She's like, I understand how these World War II and like even Korean War veterans who were in there, but mostly World War II, were having like getting up and leaving the theater because they couldn't take it. She's like, I get it. I felt it because it puts you right there. It is a complete and absolute utter travesty that this did not win Best Picture in 1998. That it went to Shakespeare in Love. Harvey Weinstein and Miramax had such a chokehold on the Oscar nomination process and the way they would push films for nominations. That film winning Best Picture is unforgivable. Is it a bad film? Absolutely not. It's a good film. But when you look at the achievement of Saving Private Ryan versus something light like Shakespeare in Love, it is an absolute motherfucking travesty that Saving Private Ryan did not win Best Picture. It was also one of the few times up until that point that someone had won Best Director, but their film didn't win Best Picture. It was almost a middle finger. You did the best job of making a film, but your film is not the best film of the year. Now that happens more frequently now that there's only 5 directors nominated for Best Director, but there's 10 films, or up to 10, nominated for Best Picture. There is more separation now, and that's fine. But back in 1998-99, it rarely happened. And the fact that I was sitting there watching the Oscars and seeing Spielberg give his acceptance speech for winning Best Director, and I was like, of course he deserves this. I'm so happy for him. It's a lock. Saving Private Ryan, Best Picture. Shakespeare in Love. I screamed out, "You fucking Weinstein pieces of shit." I was so angry. It was one of those, I had a little bit of hope that the Oscars were going to do the right thing, and I realized, no, it's a popularity contest, and the Weinsteins were popular at the time. How has that aged, by the way? All right, when the random soldier is holding his insides and calling for his mom. Okay, yes. Okay, that one gets me, but not to the point to where I'm actually welling up. Yes, that part too. Saving Private Ryan got jobbed hard at the Oscars. Dude, that was like the Montreal screw job. I'm so pissed, and that was 25 years ago. Hello? I'm dropping F-bombs and MF-bombs in here about this 25 years later. It's almost been 25 years. 98, 99, yeah? 23? Hanks got robbed too. I will say Hanks is good in the film. I thought his getting nominated was kind of the win, especially because he won already for... Well, what has he won for? What films has he won Best Actor for? Other than Philadelphia. We're going to scroll through and find it. Let's see. Six Academy Award nominations and 2 consecutive wins. That's right. Forrest Gump is the other one. I forgot about Forrest Gump. How could I? Look, Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is so schmaltzy and so corny. And how can you not love it? How is it not S tier? It's S tier. One of the best film soundtracks of all time. A performance that is iconic in that he's a regular dude. He's not smart. He obviously has some learning deficiencies. But he doesn't go all the way. I don't want to say the word. Tropic Thunder. He just plays it a little bit. And you never stop rooting for him, regardless of everything. Because he is so incredibly likable in the film. And there are so many quotes. I think I ruined your roommate's robe. Kills me every time. I laugh out loud, like audibly loud, every time. And it's such a throwaway line. Like, the screen's fading out as they're, like, leaving the dorm room. I think I ruined your roommate's robe. Fucking kills me every time, dude. Every time. Nail it. Talk about the timing. He deserved Best Actor in it. 100%. The fact that he won Best Actor 2 years in a row, has anyone ever done that? Daniel Day-Lewis? He has 3. My Left Foot. There Will Be Blood, which is still my favorite of his, and then... he won for Lincoln, right? Forrest Gump, back to back. Yeah, you got it. Alan Silvestri, because you never go full that. Yeah, exactly. Forrest Gump, I actually have to put it ahead of Catch Me If You Can. Catch Me If You Can is a personal favorite, and I've really rated it higher than I think most people would probably put it as an A or B. I can't look y'all in the eye and tell you that Catch Me If You Can is a better film than Forrest Gump. I can't. I almost kind of want to put it even ahead of Toy Story 2, but Toy Story 2 is such a good film. No, I got to do it. Forrest Gump's got to be right there. It has to be. In spite of myself, because I saw that in a movie theater for the first time, and I'm thinking to myself, God, this movie is schmaltzy. Doesn't matter. It's that good. Spencer Tracy won back-to-back. Thank you for the Googles. Appreciate that. Lincoln. Yeah, so you won it for Lincoln as well. All right, we have 3 left. Green Mile. I'll tell you what, this is a good movie for its time, and I didn't really give a shit about it. It's not a D. It's a high C. It's Yeah, I gotta put it ahead of Sully. All right, we'll put it down here. It's a better film than Sully, but it's 3 hours long, dude. And it is the lesser because the problem is it suffers against Shawshank Redemption, which is the better of the Stephen King prison films. Did Darabont make that too? I forget. Tom Hanks for Gump beat Travolta in Pulp Fiction and Morgan Freeman in Shawshank. Oh, you're right. Travolta was best actor? I thought he was best supporting. I forget. No, Samuel L. Jackson was best supporting that year. Nominated. Morgan Freeman in Shawshank. Shawshank did not get any love, and I can honestly and proudly say I saw Shawshank Redemption in a theater. Not a lot of people can say that. It did not do well at the box office. It wasn't until it started playing on cable over and over again before it started really doing well. Green Mile makes me cry like a baby. Okay. It's a good movie. It didn't have that effect on me at all. It's a movie that wrecked me. So both of y'all, I watched a group of people and everyone was weeping. Okay. Hey. How many times have you seen it? Was once enough? Because in spite of the fact that Saving Private Ryan makes me cry like a baby every time I've seen it probably 6 or 7 times. Right? But I'm guessing you've seen Green Mile maybe twice. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's 2 left. Apollo 13 is S tier. Say what you want. His performance is grounded, even though it's in space, and he helps carry that film along, and his iconic line of "Houston, we have a problem" is fantastic. The way he delivers it, it's as a film, it's one of Ron Howard's best films. Ooh, that'd be a good tier maker. Ron Howard films. More Than a Few for me. Wow. Okay. Once in its entirety. So you've caught it on cable here and there, probably. You know what else? You know what else is S tier? Is Captain Phillips. No, not Captain Phillips. Is Castaway. Castaway. Captain Phillips. God dang. It's not as good as Apollo 13, but it's up there. Castaway is amazing. Castaway is a film that should not work. Castaway is a 2 hour and 20 minute film where for more than half of it, in fact, I want to say like 60% of the film is him by himself. That is something you don't do in movies. You can't have an actor be by themselves that long. And not only did Zemeckis land it because he got Tom Hanks, who can pull it off, but you're there with him the whole time, and then he went away for like a year and starved himself? Or was it the other way around? I think he starved himself. No. I want to say he starved himself for I don't know how many months and then grew the beard and his hair, although I think they did extensions. That you talk about method. I'm surprised he didn't go live on a deserted island. It's so tough. Apollo 13 is S tier, one of my favorite 90s movies. It is fantastic. You could argue with these that Apollo 13 might be better than Forrest Gump in some ways. They're 2 totally different films. I can't put Forrest Gump behind Apollo 13. I took a day and drove to the crossroads. I remember that. You showed me pictures. The crossroads where the end of Castaway happens. Castaway is a fantastic film. Leave it to Zemeckis in his prime and Hanks in his prime to be able to get that film made and for it to do like $200 million at the box office blows my mind. I went and saw it in a theater and I walked out like that should not have worked, and it was fucking great. And when it's on cable, do you think I sit and watch it? Hell yes. Have I seen it 5 times? Probably something like that. Yeah. And you got to watch from the beginning, right? You don't. If it's on TNT and you have the ability to do the on demand and rewind it, you have to see the entire thing. You got to see the plane crash. You have to. And the first moments when he figures out what's going on and he's trying to get his bearings, and it's so well done and very believable. I'll tell you what, I love it. Apollo 13 was a follow-up to Forrest Gump. It was his next role. Yeah, it's 94. 95? Yeah, they were right next to each other. Zemeckis and Hanks team up again for Polar Express and not capture the same magic. Yeah, so I have Polar Express down here and not seen. It's something about the CGI in that's so creepy. I just never had a desire to. His next movie after, yeah. Okay, so this is my list. I know a couple of y'all disagree with me on the F tier. Maybe you think Joe versus the Volcano should be a little higher. Volunteers maybe a little bit highly rated there. I am not a fan of Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I don't like the way they changed the story. For Fred Rogers, he deserves better than that film, and it's overrated. Same with The Post. Slapped together, quick script, and it shows. Great cast, well edited. Should not have been nominated for any Oscars, honestly. The Da Vinci Code is in there. Yeah. Turner and Hooch, begrudgingly, as a C. Don't kill no dogs, man. But all the way up to the S tier. When you look at the strength of this guy's catalog, I mean, I have all of these Bs. I would sit and watch right now. If any of these Bs came up on cable, I'd watch them. In fact, some of these Cs I would too. Charlie Wilson's War, good movie. Just not as repeatable as some of the other ones. Same with Bridge of Spies, perfectly fine. I will not watch Turner and Hooch again, ever. But most of these other films in here, I would watch them again. They're really good. So, even down to the Ds and the Fs, I think if you look at the percentage, his batting average might be some of the highest of any actor in Hollywood. And for that, he deserved to have his own tier maker list. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, put down in the comments, what is your favorite Tom Hanks film? And what should I do next? What's the next list that we should do? I have a few potential ideas in my phone that I'm keeping track of that we could do. But I want to hear what you think. Same thing with Twitch chat. Whatever you got, let me know. What do you want to see next? I'm all ears. Thank you for watching. This has been fantastic. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. And for Twitch, it's almost my bedtime, so it's about time to go to bed. Thanks for watching.